Hello, still no end in sight as flights in the east are grounded for yet another day.
With no movement at Luton, Norwich or Stansted airports for the 6th day, the costs are mounting, both for individuals and for businesses. But there is one benefit for the environment. Our chief reporter Kim Riley is at a deserted Stansted airport. Kim.
Yeah, you know it's the case, but you know, as you drive here, it still comes as a bit of a shock to see those illuminated signs beside the road with those two words, airport closed. Now, there are a few people milling around up at the terminal. The word cancelled is spread all over the departure boards. Staff who've worked here many, many years say they've never known anything quite like this. One of them said, "This is really weird." Today I had a very unusual tour airside.
A pilot's eye view of the runway, but we're in a car, not a plane. Airfield Operations Team Manager Giles Peters takes us to areas normally strictly off limits.
It feels quite extraordinary to stand on a runway that on a normal day would see 450 planes taking off or landing, carrying some 60,000 passengers. But since last Thursday, it's been like this, eerily quiet.
Ryanair planes standing idle with engines swathed in polythene. I was surprised there weren't more aircraft here, but many, of course, are grounded abroad. The maintenance crews have been applying fresh coats of paint while they can. Much of this work normally carried out at night. Giles drove us down the so-called cul-de-sacs, past the satellite terminals and stands that would normally be teeming with passengers. Stansted waiting to come back to life. With more than 66,000 flights cancelled across Europe, the Low Carbon Innovation Centre at the University of East Anglia has been calculating the impact on the environment. A saving of some 3.7 million tonnes of carbon dioxide, enough to fill 7 million hot air balloons.
Yeah, that's about 8 million air balloons full of CO2. It also equates to about 5% of the total emissions from car transport in the UK per annum.
Landing at Cranfield in Bedfordshire, this aircraft has spent 4 days mapping the reach of the volcanic cloud. Instruments on board sampling particles in the atmosphere. Data useful to the Met Office in deciding when it's safe to reopen our airspace. The big question to the experts, how long might the Icelandic volcano keep on erupting?
What we do know historically is that when this volcano erupted nearly 200 years ago, it went on for the best part of 2 years. Not continuously, but with intermittent bursts of this kind of explosive activity. So that's probably as good a scenario as any for what's going to happen in the future.
Emily Slater, on holiday in Bedford, is 33 weeks pregnant. Her husband's an army corporal serving in Cyprus. She's booked into the military hospital in Akrotiri. But after this weekend, air regulations say she can't fly.
The race is on now. I'll be turning 34 weeks pregnant this Saturday. And after which time I'm presuming they're not going to allow me to fly, but I'm unable to speak to anybody from the company.
A visit to Thorpe Park today for a group of sick children. 4 Norfolk police officers had been due to take them on a 2-week holiday to Florida, but they've been stranded at Gatwick since Saturday. Today, vapour trails were spotted by eagle-eyed viewers over parts of our region, but these were long-distance flights passing over at high altitude. They weren't coming into land.
No great optimism here tonight, I must say, that this is going to be speedily resolved. Talk of another cloud of volcanic dust possibly coming our way, let's hope not. The authorities here say they share the frustration of passengers, they respect their patience, but they also respect the decision made on safety grounds by the Civil Aviation Authority. We're expecting another update at about 9 p.m. tonight, but I think the other message I gathered here today is that when things do begin to move again, things aren't going to be very, very simply back in order. It will be rather a messy return, but let's hope that doesn't too long in coming. Back to you.
Kim, thank you very much.
Well, since the disruption started, lots of you have been in touch with your stories. We still want to hear from you. You can ring 08457 630 630, or of course you can email look.east@bbc.co.uk.
The mother of a soldier killed in a friendly fire incident in Afghanistan has spoken of her heartbreak at missing the start of his inquest because of the ash cloud. The hearing into the deaths of 3 members of the Royal Anglian Regiment resumed this morning.
It's said to be one of the most controversial moments of the war in Afghanistan. 3 members of the Royal Anglian Regiment killed by a 500-pound bomb dropped by an American F-15 aircraft in August 2007. At the time, Private Aaron McClure from Ipswich was on the roof of a compound. He was killed instantly. Private John Thrumble from Malden in Essex was on the same roof, also killed instantly. And Private Robert Foster from Harlow was in a house firing from a window. He died of asphyxia after being trapped in the explosion. Private Aaron McClure's mother lives in Ipswich. She was due at the inquest in Wiltshire today, but she's stranded in Gran Canaria because of the volcanic ash cloud.
We've waited so long for this. To be stuck here is just, it's devastating. It means a lot of closure for myself and for my family, and I need some answers for myself. It means everything to be there. I need to be there as Aaron's mum.
The coroner, David Masters, denied an application from Lorraine McClure's counsel for an adjournment. He said he regretted the situation, but had to balance the requirements of other family members. Aaron McClure's coffin was one of the first to pass through Wiltshire, the same county where his inquest is being held. His mother hopes to hear some of it if she can get home. Debbie Tubby, BBC Look East.
Now, if you haven't registered to vote, it's now too late. Registration closed at 5 o'clock, and in this election the parties are fighting for every vote. In some seats the majorities are so small that just a few votes can make a big difference. In this region it's the Muslim vote which could have an impact. Nikki Jenkins reports from Luton South.
Campaigning in Berry Park today, the Labour candidate made sure he had the party's Muslim heavyweights right behind him.
What's selling well today? What's selling well?
But Muslim vote is very important because in Luton South constituency there's about 30% of Muslims. So they are a very important part of, for Labour to hold the Luton South.
The Conservatives too are bringing in the big guns, with Lord Sheikh, the chair of the Conservative Muslim Forum, due to speak here this evening.
People do not realise the correlation between what Islam believe in and what Conservatives are portraying. The values are the same, and our family values, our marriage values are all the same, and there's a correlation, and the vote is very important.
Speaking 4 languages is certainly an advantage for Kurban Hussain when it comes to getting his Lib Dem message across.
Actually I can't speak properly English.
But the party is at pains to point out that it's not targeting Muslim voters in particular.
Luton is a very, very mixed community. It's got 140 languages, if you can believe that. So it's very, very diverse. So I think we're appealing to all sections of the community.
It would be foolish to suggest there's some kind of Muslim bloc vote. In fact, there's open hostility to the idea. But there are some common concerns.
Especially after the 9/11, things have changed a lot. Really, I think it's to be accepted again.
Well, this is business, isn't it? You know, I mean, the interest rates are 0%, so if my business clicks, I click.
I'm not participating in elections since I became Muslim 10 years ago, because we think that only one who can give laws, this is God.
You shouldn't be saying you shouldn't vote, because why are we living in this country then? We should be taking an active part in this country.
I've seen less apathy here than elsewhere in Luton, but no foregone conclusions for anyone. Nikki Jenkins, BBC Look East.
Still to come on Look East.